joins the antisocial network.
Yeah. Mask up, stay 6 feet apart.
Yeah, right.
Hi, welcome back to YeahUhHuh with
wait a
Lisa,
minute. Where's
Phil,
Alex?
and Aaron. Oh, wait a minute. Okay.
Sorry about that.
Okay. Hey, let me restart. Hi, welcome back to YeahUhHuh with Lisa, Phil, and Aaron. This week we're talking to Alex Mell-Taylor, a LGBTQ. I'm sorry, I'm not wearing glasses. LGBTQ activist and writer, based in Washington, D.C. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Alex.
Hi, everybody. Alex, they, her pronouns. So basically, I run a blog over on Medium or wherever you can find me called Alex Has Opinions, where I talk about pop culture and politics. I'm also part of a writers collective called After the Storm magazine, where we we're speculative fiction. We accept stories from people all over the world, release quarterly, and it's about post-capitalist fiction, essentially. So those are sort of my two wheelhouses. I also have a book out called The Bubble We're In. It's a steamy erotica about COVID. So I'm excited to be on the show. I love having opinions, and I love dying on hills.
COVID erotica.
Yeah, that's a unique genre.
There's
isn't
a
it?
niche.
Created your own niche right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, can we ask how old you were during COVID?
I was 30.
Okay.
Yeah, it hit me.
So yeah, you look good.
Thanks.
Yeah.
That's such a rough time in our.
Because I was
modern
thinking you
history.
might have been a teenager.
But you know what? That's how our podcast was born, out of COVID, really.
Right.
Because we were so isolated that we felt like we needed to reach out.
We wanted to have
virtually.
conversations as if you were in our living room.
I love that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, we invite people over. We just do it virtually. Saves on the cleaning bills.
Yeah, right. Everything up here looks good. Don't look at the floor. Right?
We buy less dust prevention.
That's fair, and COVID's still ongoing, so very, very
Oh, yeah.
important.
Well, we had some construction done. The reason why I mentioned dust, we had construction done when we first moved. Before we moved into the house, we had to have the bathroom completely redone to accommodate my wheeled American status. And in the process, they did not put dust catchers on the vents and things.
Oh no.
So the construction dust, they didn't put up little plastic, because we weren't living there. So they didn't think about it. And so we got dust all into the vent systems. So one of the things we're going to have to do is have that cleaned.
Oh, that's never fun.
No, it probably costs around $85 to $150. And every time we get ready to
Not
implement
better than
that,
I was imagining.
one of our appliances dies. What was that, Aaron?
That's a lot better than I was imagining the cost would be.
Yeah, well, there's a coupon.
Yay.
Yeah. So, and I think they hope that we'll sign up for their HVAC maintenance service with a decreased price. But yeah, my dad paid for it when we had our old house, and I think it cost this was back maybe in 2015, 2016. It probably cost him around $150, $200 for both houses.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we should say you're in Washington, D.C., right?
I'm in the Washington, D.C. area. I'm in one of those towns
In
that...
the DMV.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I just say Washington, D.C. because A, don't want people to know exactly where I live.
Exactly.
And,
exactly.
Right.
Yeah, we get it.
And B, most people don't know the neighborhoods anyway.
You got that metro train.
Well,
zips around all over the
ours
place.
isn't a small town, so we just say Cincinnati.
But yeah, we went to Alexandria. It's been like maybe 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Now.
Wow.
But, we
Don't say things like that.
We enjoyed that. I mean, and we commuted on the metro train. We went to DC, and we went
that was cool.
to Monticello, or not Monticello. We went to Mount Vernon and all that type of stuff.
Oh yeah, the ladies of Mount Vernon.
Yeah, and we had a great time.
Mm-hmm.
But and we took in the culture, of the area. We really enjoyed it. I'm just curious, how are things changed? I know that lately the Supreme Court did mandate that the National Guard get out of D.C. Chicago, right? Is that right? That's
It,
right.
it did. A thing that I think people need to realize is, hey, that was terrifying that happened, and
Mm-hmm.
but DC, because the city is so close to military installations, the Pentagon is right here. Uh, that presence is sort of always there. It was more visible during the National Guard, but it's sort of DC is a very difficult place to navigate, especially if you do anything like activism or civil disobedience, because there's many different overlapping jurisdictions. So it's always sort of a chaotic town from that perspective. But yeah, I've noticed the difference now that they've been ordered to step back. I live close-ish to a hotel, and a lot of them were staying there, so you could see them every day, and I definitely have noticed a decrease.
Hmm. Did you feel like it was suppressing?
You're saying it was ICE and or the National Guard that was at the hotels?
Uh, the National Guard.
Huh.
Yeah.
Did you sit outside and check them out?
I I don't know. I hum Star Wars a lot. I do the activism that I do is mainly logistical on the back end for like the local groups that I am. I'm not much of a direct action person. So I do a lot of I don't know, boring emails. A lot of meetings, a lot of uh, hosting supplies in my apartment, a lot of onboarding people, stuff like that is what I'm doing. So I'm not much of a
Social butterfly, or
yeah.
so. I mean, but did you notice it? Did it suppress people going out to eat, people going to the theater? People, I mean, did you notice any of that type of thing, or because we haven't experienced that here? Although we hear this increased not demand but call for it. That Cincinnati is out of control with violence and whatever.
Yeah, we have seen none of that.
But yeah,
Yeah.
did it impact
Portland
tourism?
and LA and
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a national story about it, but it just isn't supported.
Yeah, it's definitely a scary thing. DC is definitely easier for them to implement the guards and all of that stuff uh, because it doesn't have the same constitutional rights and the same representation. So it was a lot easier for them to do that than I think it is at other places, other cities across the country. They need more of a justification to do that. I The tourism thing is very interesting because simultaneously so many people in the area have lost their jobs. So there is decreased uh, turnout. There have been horrifying cases of people being dragged off the street in the DC area, particularly people of color. It, it's one of those things where the town of DC has been impacted by so many intersecting things that it's like, yes, I have noticed a decrease in turnout. But also half my friends have lost their jobs. So it's these two things happening simultaneously where DC has been hit pretty hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are people buddying up as far as like housing goes to offset the? Yeah. I mean, have you gotten a new roommate?
I have not gotten a new roommate, but I have multiple partners, so at capacity. But I've noticed more people are engaged in mutual aid. A lot more mutual aid groups have set up. There used to only be one in my area. Now there's multiple, which is really great to see. So I've noticed people have been relying more on each other. Uh, having more food distribution hubs, having more cooking for each other, that sort of thing is what I've noticed. Yes, more people are rooming with each other, more people are directly helping each other with rent. That's sort of always been a thing in queer spaces, but I've definitely noticed it like increasing.
Yeah. And I love that. I love that. I know a friend of ours
You
out
love
in
that people are being
California.
forced to move together to save money.
No, I love that people are
I
expanding
know, I'm teasing.
their
I knew
openness
what
and
you meant.
sharing.
Erin's got to get to.
Erin's got to
She's
get
got the
that
bunny
little
ears.
brother
Erin
jab
needs the
in.
horns.
Yeah. He's got to get that little brother vibe in, like jab at the big sister.
Love
I am once again the oldest person on the podcast.
I just analyzed the last sentence and said, "Wait a minute, what?" That's all.
So, and Trump has said that, okay, so he tries to take control of everything. He's like, oh, okay, so now we're going to remove the National Guard, like he's decided to do this, like he wasn't commanded.
Yeah, it's his decision.
We've decided to do this, and but we may be back, and when we do, we may be stronger. So the implication there is we're talking about Marines, or we're talking about the U.S. Army,
Yeah, he's just itching to send the American forces against American people for some reason.
Yeah,
I feel like he wants to be that fascist dictator.
Yeah, I would say he's doing a pretty good job. I think that whether or not he sends the Marines or the National Guard, something that we should all be looking out for is that the militarization of the police in this country has increased so much to the point where police forces are almost their own little occupying militaries at this point, with intense intelligence gathering operations, and that has only gotten more over the course of the Trump administration, more intense. So even if the Guard are not implemented again in DC or in your city, the way that police are being organized right now, I would really be worried, right? Like Cop City, I don't know if any of you are familiar with that over in Atlanta. It was a police academy, among other things, at like an intense training ground. That's, even though there was opposition to it over the course of years, it successfully was able to go through, and it's the first of many proposed all over the country. So I think that what people really need to be on the watch out for is not necessarily like the military coming in, but this more permanent infrastructure. Like if a similar academy is going to be built in your city, they don't need Trump. All Trump needs to do is sort of support that, and then he can use that resource later down the line to integrate with other parts of the federal government. So I would tell people to be really on the watch for these sort of facilities that are being proposed all over the country.
Yeah, the protesters at Cop City did just win a court decision. They're allowed to keep protesting, for what that's worth.
Yay!
But yeah, you see it like
wonderful.
Even in the news from
Little
yesterday.
win.
This was at a warrant issued by the city of New York for Maduro, and here we have the U.S. military executing a police warrant, basically, and killing 40 Venezuelans apparently. In the meantime,
Ooh, yeah.
and so yes, at the
Without even
police
telling
cities,
Congress, right?
Right.
Which what presidents have done that before, but
No, not without telling Congress. At least,
well,
Yeah,
I can't.
This
I
is
can't.
the
okay,
first
are we saying not without
complete end
informing?
around without
Because
telling,
even without,
at least your party leaders.
Which shouldn't be,
Right.
but it's illegal. Irregardless of whether it's been done before, it's been illegal every time it's been done. So
Yeah.
the whole whataboutism shit is what gets me fed up. I get tired of the Trump or the MAGA uses what they
It's
consider to
logical
be
fallacy.
precedents. They take what they think to be a precedents, and then they exacerbate it, and blow, and then take it and use it to their advantage. And then if people feed off that, they look at that and they're like, what about Bill Clinton, or what about something that George
What about
W.
him?
Bush did 30
We-
years ago, whatever.
We've
So what if
we've
he
got
went to
political
Epstein
cadence where
Island?
we usually vent all our political stuff. Let's talk about
Right.
Alex.
Well, I mean,
Okay.
Alex is okay. To be fair,
Alex
reading
is an
Alex's
activist.
work,
Okay,
Alex does
I'm
dive
very
into
political.
politics.
okay, and
So it's not,
Yeah, I
but
agree with.
if you have any art or books or stuff that you'd like to talk about, you should get it in before. That's kind of what I'm getting at.
Yeah, no,
Fair enough.
I understand what you're saying. That like we just had that attack against Venezuela. I agree, it's a war crime. I think a lot of people are comparing it to what was that 1989 in Panama, Operation Just Cause, where
Ironically, I'd hate to throw a tangent here, and it comes up a lot on our cast. I worked with the Korean-born person that was brought up in the hearing with Kristi Noem, and hopefully he'll be on our podcast soon. But he was shot in Panama.
ooh,
During that.
Friendly fire. Subsequently, now, all these years later, I guess it was June, he was required to self-deport. But you were saying Panama, yeah.
yeah, it was another dictator. I'm not
Noriega, was it Manuel Noriega?
Yeah, and another accusation of drug that was then taken
Utilized
over.
to justify the action.
Yeah, Aaron, to your point,
They're calling fentanyl chemical warfare.
yeah, this does feel like an escalation. That was also unilateral action, and I would argue also war crime. And I think the United Nations also released a report calling it a war crime. So,
Yeah,
I don't
don't disagree that it was a war crime, but
yeah,
but he did tell like the committee, what's that head defense committee? Its name's escaping me.
for the United Nations or
No,
NATO,
for the U.S. for Congress,
SATCOM.
Armed Forces Committee. I guess.
Oh, okay.
He told cabinet people and some Congress people. This time he just went.
Yes. This is the most unilateral action that I think we've seen in a long time, and it's not good.
No.
A
little scary.
It's a little scary. I'm not a hugest
Started with boats, moved up to oil tankers.
Yeah.
And now it's siege the capital. Are they in Caracas? Where are they?
Yeah. Well, I have not looked at the news today because this just happened yesterday.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there are boots on the ground as of speaking right now. I haven't looked it up. It's like we bombed, went in, extracted the leader. I know Maduro's second in command, as of yesterday, wanted to be in charge still. And I think to remove them, we would have to do a very similar thing.
Trump said the people standing behind him yesterday will be in charge.
Okay. Well,
right. Well, the vice president yesterday kind of contradicted him and actually demanded that evening. She demanded the release of Maduro. So there seems to be some disagreement.
The vice president of Venezuela.
Yeah. No, the vice president of Venezuela was sworn in as president, and in her first address, she did say that she demanded the release of Maduro, and also Putin has demanded that. But
I thought you were talking about Vance, and then the pronoun really threw me. Okay.
Well, okay, so I did see Marco Rubio this morning on Meet the Press, and he said there are no boots on the ground right now. He claimed they were on the ground for 2 hours, as long as it took to apprehend Maduro yesterday. So they dance around this idea, and they refuse to acknowledge that it's any kind of war type. They use language where it's not war. We're not waging war with Venezuela.
And it's kidnapping, right?
Then it's kidnapping. I mean, it's it's.
Yeah.
yes, they're very careful not to use those words.
Yeah, what they're probably going to try to do is use the threat of violence to strike a deal with the vice president in order to
maintain purview over the oil.
Get that woman in charge. What's her name? The one that won the Nobel Peace Prize recently.
Right.
They want her in charge. That's the end goal. The goal is to remove Maduro, get her in charge. They're going to use this latest round of violence as a talking point in order to negotiate with the current vice president, who's now claiming to be the president of Venezuela. And I think that's...
Imagine by default and by their law, he probably is, right?
He probably is. So
yeah, well, it's a woman, and they swore her in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Already. So Venezuela swore her in as president.
Is that the same woman that won the Nobel?
Our country's
No.
just ignoring it.
It's not the same woman.
No.
So they want the Nobel laureate in there.
Yes.
And then, okay.
So
And another woman
wondering
is
why.
the vice president.
Yes. Whether that happens, I don't know. This is either going to be very long, drawn out, and become basically another Iraq, or it's going to be very short.
Right.
Yeah. Or the world will unite against us.
Well, let's say it drags on to
And
November.
defend Venezuela against the United States.
I sadly think that Venezuela burned a lot of its allies during the most recent election. Which is sad because Venezuela did have a lot of allies, and now it seems to be on the world stage alone, sort of. Not like entirely alone, and I think that this attack will have galvanized a lot more support because this is a war crime and this is unjust. But I think part of the reason why this war crime and invasion was even able to happen in the first place is because Maduro alienated himself from allies abroad.
Well, yeah, Maduro's a shitbag. I mean, there's
no
glossing it over.
Nobody's questioning that.
There's no, you can
Just
be
the kind of guy
against.
Trump usually likes. He likes it.
Yeah, well, yeah, he actually
likes a
released
shitbag.
one of them from jail just like 2 months ago, right?
Right.
The
The previous
dictator had basically done.
person is over Venezuela.
But you can be against this invasion and against Maduro at the same time. It's not one and the same.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I'd like to make that clarification because everything has to be binary, right? Everything has to be binary in the media. It's either like if you say anything against Trump, you must be a left-wing lunatic, or if you're
If you say anything that's
At least according to
pro-Palestine,
some
you're
of our family
anti-Semitic.
members.
And in fact, Alex, you wrote an essay that talks about centrism and how America seems to be kind of trying to feel around for the what people used to value,
A
like
balance.
being able to sit down with your opponent and be able to agree on things that are common and be able to work on issues that you have with each other. Is that going by the wayside? And especially as it relates to, I think of Tyler Sheridan, all his programming is right-wing oriented if you watch it. I mean, it's good programming. This guy's a good, he's the one that did Yellowstone, 1823, Landman. We started watching Landman. We had no idea that it was a Tyler Sheridan until into season 2. By the time we were hooked, right? But
it's a really good show.
Hunting Wives, these are very right-wing oriented shows.
Mm-hmm.
And then you still have shows that are more left. So is that middle ground dissipating as it relates to pop culture and media? I mean, are we polarized?
That's a very good question. I think America has always been a pretty deeply conservative country, and I think our media has reflected that. I think that about 10 years ago, we had this more neoliberal corporatist dominance in our pop culture, the idea that you could sort of achieve equality through the marketplace, and that sort of representation in media was one that could theoretically accept LGBT people, theoretically could accept other stigmatized minorities in the United States. And so there was like a push. You would see shows like you would see shows on Netflix of like queer people that would be like they're successful in academics, they're successful through the marketplace, and we've had a serious cultural backlash against that. Actually, that cultural backlash sort of happened immediately when it was implemented. There was this thing, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the harassment campaign Gamergate, that happened in the mid 2010s. But essentially, there's been a culture war constantly against that sort of representation. And now I would say those sort of more corporatist forces have lost, and we're now moving towards a more reactionary society. When it comes to like our media, I would say that we're getting more
And in general,
conservative.
we're going back to fucking tariffs, man.
Yeah. So I think that sort of middle ground was built on this ideological consensus that has shattered, and that middle ground was about like economics. It was neoliberalism from my perspective, the idea that the market should dictate everything. I'm not saying I agree with that. I just think that was what was the unifying pillar. I think that was what what brought together both the sort of center left, the Democratic Party, and the Republicans, was that they had unifying opinions on trade, they had unifying opinions on the marketplace, and that's gone. That's the Republican Party has completely transferred over to an openly fascist state, and it's now warring between those that want an ethno-state and those that want a sort of, I guess, techno-feudalism. And those two people are fighting. I don't know what like media is going to be moving forward. I don't see that middle ground coming back for a while.
Do you see Warner Brothers going to Netflix or to Ellison?
I'm not sure. I do see more and more of those companies consolidating. Like, we're already seeing more and more mergers of the entertainment sector. There was a joke years ago that all entertainment was 10 companies in a trench coat, and we've moved to 5. And we're going to be in a position, if things continue, where we'll be at 3 over in 5 years.
26 years at Disney.
Yeah, 2 of which are apparently controlled by Trump at this time.
2023.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sorry, Aaron, you said you were...
Oh, yeah, I had 25 years at Disney, almost 26 as an employee, and another year as a contractor. I was laid off in 2023, and yeah, that's really, when you get down to it, as a result of the Fox merger.
Yeah. You can see his Tinkerbell there.
Oh,
that was his 25-year award.
25 years, Simba's 20, Sorcerer Mickey's 15, and the Mickey plaque's 10.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I would say Disney...
But you're absolutely right. I mean, they're smaller and smaller.
Yeah, and Disney's having a rightward turn right now.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of its media is becoming more conservative. Like, if you've watched any of the most recent movies, I would say the Fantastic Four movie was more conservative than I thought it was going to be. I would say...
But it's set in the 50s, too.
Yeah. Yes.
The stylized 50s, but still.
Yeah, that's fair.
We had to drop Tulsa.
I mean, that was the 50s.
Yeah. We had to stop watching Tulsa King.
Yeah.
For moral and political reasons.
Yeah. But you know what? We started watching a show called Euphoria, and this show started in 2019. And I think that it's kind of, and it's coming up with its 3rd season. Apparently, it only releases every 3 years or so. And it's got Zendaya. Have you ever seen it?
I have never seen.
Is that the one with all...
Euphoria? I know about it.
Okay, there's Zendaya. Her best friend is trans.
I might be
Um,
confusing you.
and there's a lot of drugs
Okay,
and
it is the one with a lot of. I saw like the
yeah.
first episode, I think.
And
Not a
spoiler
full.
alert.
Seemed like it was too young,
It's pretty
Yeah.
raw. Yeah,
scheme,
your kids
young
aren't going to be watching.
skewing for me.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Oh no, it's very mature in its themes and things, and it
Yeah,
teaches you a lot about
but I
what
mean,
your
it's aimed
kids
at
might be up
20-year-olds.
to there, Aaron. Aaron has 20-something children.
But I think
so.
it's interesting to see the evolution of this.
Closer to
because
30-something now.
Oh,
the show started in
Stop saying
2019
things
when
like
we were
that.
kind of very much in this different place altogether as far as entertainment goes.
Haley's
now they're
almost 40.
And here it is reemerging 5 years later in the middle of a transition, kind of a transitioning media landscape. And so it's a good watch if you want to watch it. And I'm curious to see how we're only on season 1, but I'm curious to see how they're going to navigate season 3.
Yeah. Season 3 is coming out soon, which is why Philip finally decided to start watching it.
Oh.
He gets we either watch limited series that are definitely going to stop here, or we tend to watch shows that now have at least 3 seasons. So I kind of tricked him into watching Grey's Anatomy because we're on like season 22?
Oh yeah.
And
Grey's
we had never
Anatomy is a
watched
good watch.
it.
Yeah.
So
I was on the set for Disney Way 1.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
And they used to have this program for a week. You'd you'd learn about all different parts of the company and travel to different places and go to that's a studio that's off the lot, the Prospect Studios. And I think General Hospital is there too.
Oh, nice.
I got a little General Hospital Hot Wheel from.
Cool.
There's.
Cool.
I ended up, and it culminates. You do one shift as a character at Disneyland. I got to be Tigger for 15 minutes.
Oh,
That's
cool.
really cute.
Yeah, that sounds fun. I love Tigger.
Yeah.
Of course, now my heart belongs to Pooh.
This is the
Where's
way.
my Pooh Bear?
There you go.
Oh. And just to give you an idea of how long my heart's been Pooh's.
Oh.
This is my Pooh Bear. He's 57 years old.
Oh. I love Winnie the Pooh. I think one of my favorite songs is Christopher Robin.
Yes. Yes.
Oh.
Beautiful.
Yeah. We
Just
were
beautiful.
talking about that last night on a different podcast.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
But your writing takes, I read the essay about Zero Day. I did not like Zero Day. I like Robert De Niro. I usually like espionage thrillers and that shit, but it was just way too dry for me. But you made some interesting points about the latent fascism that was a part of the show. You also did an essay about White Lotus. So you pull these modern, these contemporary issues into your essays about these programs. So I wonder, I was kind of banking on maybe you'd seen Euphoria, but since not, I mean,
I haven't either.
What about oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you ask your question. I'm all ears.
Oh, I was gonna say Wag the Dog.
I haven't seen Wag the Dog. This is
okay, but and then like
I haven't seen it since it
one
came
of my
out.
favorite things.
Like
One of my
late
favorite
90s,
things
early
from
aughts.
From RuPaul is look over there.
Yeah.
And I love that. And I think that Wag the Dog is kind of look over there. It's like distract the public with something big that's almost as big as what they don't want you to look at.
They wag the dog every damn
they
day.
they wag the dog
Yeah.
instead of the tail, and that's
Invade Venezuela to get people's mind off the Epstein files. Is that what you're
I
saying?
mean, seriously. Although I am just wondering if it isn't this thing where, 2 weeks ago Trump decided, or 2 years ago, whenever it was, back in 2019 even, he thought, oh, we'll just take it over. And now he's doing it. He gets a hair up and they just make it happen.
I think there was too much opposition
I don't even think
to
there's
Greenland.
strategy. Do what?
He wanted
Aaron?
Greenland first.
Right, right.
I guess,
Really?
I guess what I'm
No.
getting at with the question I was trying to work towards is you,
Uh-huh.
you kind of
Sorry.
take these TV shows and you draw conclusions from them. It seemed like the one from Zero Day seemed to be that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but that the fascism lives, it's bipartisan.
Sure. Yeah. I would. This might be controversial. I think America has always been a deeply fascist country. I think it's just that fascism has not been directed towards all of the population. If you want
You had
to
to be a
talk,
male property holding non-slave to have rights.
if you want to talk about a system where the enemy is both strong and weak, where there's intense hero worship that goes through all of Umberto Eco's 13 or 14 points of fascism, that's the slavery system. That's the plantation system. The plantation system in America was heavily fascist. It was a controlled system based off hero worship that demonized and scapegoated a segment of the population. And I think we have scapegoating a portion of our population has been a facet of America forever. And I think what we're waking up to right now is that is being directed inwards, finally, towards groups of people that were not historically targeted. And that's scary and that's painful, but I have a hard time looking at America, which I consider to be an empire, that has, we're talking about Venezuela. We've attempted multiple coups in Venezuela. We've couped most of Latin America, and we have military bases in every country, more or less, in the world. Like that, we don't call those occupations. We don't say that we're occupying South Korea right now, but we are, right? It's just been normalized, and so I think that America, what we're seeing right now is sort of its charm and its luster and sort of the image that it sold to the world is breaking. And I think, to go to your point about Zero Day, it's a very interesting article because it was and a TV show. Like, I think it's an interesting cultural relic because it was made by DC heads, right? Like, it was made. One of the writers is someone that's a Politico, and they're very invested in the goings of DC, and they've been sold on this sort of idea of moderation. It's very popular in DC. Everyone in DC really thinks that if you just get an Amy Klobuchar in charge, we'll be able to save the country. And
that's ruined the left, if you ask me. For decades.
It's ultimately their decision is that they need a strong man in order to stop the sort of horseshoe radicalism that is on both sides. That's not like what traditional fascism, but what I argue in that essay is that it's a very sort of like moderate version of fascism. It's this idea that you have crazies on all sides and that you need a strong man in order to sort of destroy those crazies. Or destroy those very radical people. And
that's how he increased the Hispanic vote, Trump. That's what at least some of my friends were telling me, that they historically want a strong man.
And I think that goes deep. I don't think that's a new impulse in America. I think we disagree on what type of strongman we want, but I think most Americans sort of want a strongman. That might be my little pessimistic self.
I want Obama.
I do not want a strongman.
If they were to if Trump were to succeed at removing the restrictions, and I think he won't, I hope, about running again. But if he did, it would have to be reversed for all, just like the presidential immunity benefits all presidents. I think Obama could run again, and I think he could beat him.
Oh, I think he would beat him.
But
easily.
that leads us to, do you have a leading candidate that you think could take down Trump and
Obama aside, former presidents
Right.
aside.
right, right.
I think that the solution against Trump is not going to be electoral. I think that our system, I was talking about mutual aid earlier, or the idea that you should build systems of care that both the giver of the care and the receiver of the care can both take advantage of.
Right.
I think we need more of that. I think that
Something like USAID, something that he dismantled right away.
I think we as citizens need to take on that responsibility rather than relying on a government.
Legislation.
Yeah, I think we need to care for each other, and through building those systems of care, we can take that to elections. I think right now, to go on to the strongman argument, I don't think a single person will help us, and I actually think that that person will become co-opted by the current system. I could throw you a name like AOC or Mamdani or Ileana Omar or Bernie Sanders or whatever. Like,
Hey, Buttigieg.
Those are all far left and would have a hard time.
Sure, Klobuchar, Pete Buttigieg.
Yeah, those are the less. Oh,
Yeah,
I like
news.
Pete.
Yeah.
I don't think any of them are going to do it because I think they're ultimately co-opted by the same forces. And I think we as Americans, we really have to care for each other. We really need to build systems of care that outlast a single election. We need we need stronger unions. We need worker cooperatives. We need the quote unquote means of production to be controlled by workers.
We need more political parties.
We need more political parties.
I agree.
We need. I'm a huge assembly girly. I think we need more local politics where you actually cast a direct vote for the policy that you want. There's plenty of path forward, but I would encourage Americans to look local, to look for caring for their neighbors, to know your neighbors if you don't know them, to
Actually meet your neighbors.
yes, meet your neighbors, develop disaster plans, right? Like develop plans for when the shit hits the fan. You can care for each other, and those plans will outlast those situations. Like that's the sort of people power that we need to build right now. I know that's sort of not answering your question directly, but that's
that's fine. That's a great answer.
But I wonder, are we suffering from paralysis by analysis? Because we have a friend that's been on our podcast numerous times. We're really good friends. He's written a brilliant book called Judgment Day and Other White Lies.
Sure.
And Mike, we've pulled him into some political discussions, and he kind of forwards this thought too that historically America has been fascist. This is nothing new. Trump is not doing anything different.
Right.
But does that serve to normalize what's going on? Does that work against the ability to fight it, to constantly kind of be self-flagellating and saying, well, this is just the way things are? Don't we have to acknowledge that this is an escalation?
I think two things can be true at the same time. I think that if we don't acknowledge America's roots, right? If we don't acknowledge that the current systems have always been built on the violent extraction of other people, then we're going to fall into the same trap that we have been falling in for the last 20 years, which is a conservative actor, Reagan, Bush, pick your poison, gets elected. They push our country very far to the right, and worsen our laws, increase the security state, and then a Democrat gets into power, but they're afraid of reversing any of that. So they not only normalize those sort of conditions, those security states, they expand them, right? Bill Clinton, Obama, all of these politicians, they took they expanded the security date. Trump would not be able to take advantage of ICE right now if every Democrat before him did not also like yes and the sort of Republican anti-migrant sentiment, didn't like increase DHS's budget, didn't so we need to be conscious of the fact that like when we say that America is a deeply flawed system, we need it's more towards solutions, right? We can't keep hoping the same thing that has failed us for centuries works, right? We need to be very conscious that like no, electing a moderate politician isn't going to help because that moderate politician isn't going to reverse any of the policy that led to that Trump did, and they're probably going to lay the framework for a more regressive Republican in 8 years down the line. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I don't think that this is about being a downer. This is about like we need to be conscious where we're directing solutions, right? We need to be like, hey, we can't have all of our baskets in electoralism, right? Like we've been doing that so long, and it just means that inevitably when a conservative gets elected, which they always will because that's the nature of politics, we go back and forth, right? It's not so devastating. We need to increase unions, increase worker cooperatives. There's a general strike that's happening in 2028 where the UAW and the Teachers Federation of America have both voted to support this strike. And they're asking everyone to align their union contracts with that. Like, those are the solutions that I'm encouraging Americans to go towards, right? There is a path forward. It's not hopeless, but we need to walk with an open mind. We need to realize what the limitations of failed strategies have been and to iterate on them. Like, I don't think anyone in the Democratic Party is evil, right? Like, I think sometimes you get conversations like that from leftists where they're like, oh, they're all manipulative people. No, they're just the product of these systems, and I don't expect a single individual to be able to swim against that tide, right? I expect all of us need to change the current.
Well, so this discussion is interesting. It's taken a different direction than I expected, which is great because I think it's kind of moved organically. Mm-hmm. We talked about what did you? Because I wanted to talk about the Elite mini bracket.
Do you have advice for getting into local politics? One of our issues is the city that we lived in before, which was Norwood, Ohio, and now we live in Cincinnati. And our local township has meetings, but they're during the day. And we have jobs.
Yeah.
So, these are problems that we're, like, how do we even contact someone to say, hey, do you occasionally have meetings when we're not at work?
Yeah.
I have a medical condition DEI, medical restrictions, insurance changes, the AC, the American Care Act credits. And then I saw this thing, just as a little aside, I saw this thing on, I don't know if it was Reels or TikToks or one of those, where somebody was asking, what's the difference between the ACA and Obamacare? And no one could tell them. And the reason why is because there isn't one. They're the same thing. And people don't even realize that. You add to that so but that's a digression. Getting into local politics.
All right, so we got like a minute for that because we're going to do the
for us. Okay.
Don't rely on your local leaders and build systems of care yourself. Like, if you want to get into local politics, get a group of friends together where you meet regularly to talk about local politics, and you will develop plans from there. I would focus on something that's food related, right? If you develop a potluck every week where you talk to your friends about politics and you feed each other and you figure out the logistics of how you're going to feed each other, you will be shocked how politics will emerge from there, because politics is just people. It's people organizing themselves, and we as people need to organize ourselves, and we can't rely singularly on leadership. So I have a lot of thoughts on your question because I think it's really important and valid, and I think that our current politics is quite ableist, right? It does not care for disabled people.
No.
And
I am lucky to have kept my job.
Yeah.
Well, the
for
next
this
tax
transition,
the
and
next
to
pack,
be able to work from home.
the next pack meeting is the 27th.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
if there's a group,
what
I like
time?
Food Not Bombs.
To what? Food not bombs?
They're a group of people. They're
Food, not bombs.
Food Not Bombs. They just feed people, right? They're a group of activists. They come together. They feed people every month. You'll be shocked by how many groups and other forms of activism you can get connected through that group.
Yeah, and basically we sort of are. There's a group in Cincinnati called Compassion Coffee and Lattes. And one of the things that they do is they meet in a park downtown. The problem is 23 degrees, and I have to do dialysis.
Right. We can't do some of the activities they do because of her
dialysis, health issues. You know, I can't sit in a wheelchair at 23 degrees for 6 to 8 hours. But they do like a potluck feed the public type of thing.
All right, so we got 8 minutes for the Elite Eight. And
So
I want to do this
cool.
because we're going to be covering a topic that I thought we were going to talk a lot more about, LGBTQ issues. But they'll come up, I'm sure, in the process of the Elite Eight.
One of the reasons why we like to give it a few minutes.
I'm going to be the moderator, and you, Alex, and Aaron can be the contestants. So here we go.
Okay.
If I haven't seen it,
you're going to abstain?
You can abstain if you haven't
seen a show. I'll give my vote to Phil.
Okay. All right, so the first matchup is Pluribus versus Severance, the two Apple powerhouse sci-fi shows. Both of them have...
Pluribus does have a much higher LGBTQ, or LG, whatever it is.
Are we ranking these as shows, or are we ranking these as LGBTQ influence?
What's the consensus?
Use your judgment.
I mean, I'm kind of leaning... Pluribus is...
All right.
Right on the back.
Alex, while they're deliberating, what's your choice?
Severance. I like Severance more. I think it's hard because these are some of the best shows that have come out in the last 5 years. Right.
And they're so different from each other, too.
Well, of course, in Severance, you had John Turturro's character who had an affair with
Christopher
Walken.
Yeah, Christopher Walken. That was an interesting.
And then Pluribus, the main character, Carol, is a lesbian who has a relationship with.
And Ray Seahorn's brilliant.
So what about you, Aaron?
Yeah, man, Severance is just more fun to watch.
Okay, so Severance moves
I
on
love
to
both shows, but I'm going Severance.
Right.
What would you say?
Yeah, well, for as do you think it's safe?
You got baby goats and still don't know why.
Right. What's good with the goats?
Which one do you go with?
I am so hoping there's a new series coming out sooner rather than later. I don't know. I mean, Pluribus, they just delivered a special package.
Yeah.
With her return and her meeting of what's his name? I'm going to go with Severance too.
Okay, so
let's just make it a sweep.
The next one is 6 Feet Under, which features Michael C. Hall's character, brother, who is gay, versus Family Law that has a office worker. What was the name of that?
Actually the counselor is a lesbian in a couple. And the office worker Jerry is trans.
Okay, so what do you?
And he was trans. He worked as a man. Then he transitioned. He and his wife are still together. And the company, his lawyer, they supported him, which was really nice.
We got 5 minutes.
But I'm going to go with 6 Feet Under.
Okay.
Even though Family Law is still actually on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Alex?
I'm gonna go with 6 Feet Under. I think it basically helped launched the second golden age of television. Like, I think it's iconic for that reason alone.
It's a great
Right,
show,
right.
great show.
And I feel like if it wasn't for 6 Feet Under, shows like Modern Family and what's the other one I'm thinking of?
Dexter?
I don't know.
Dexter.
Maybe Dexter.
What about you, Aaron?
But,
You got an
no.
opinion?
Absolutely 6 feet
Okay.
under. Haven't seen the other show,
Okay.
but love 6
Orange
feet
is the
under.
New Black versus American Horror Story. Lise?
I'm gonna go with Orange is the New Black.
Alex?
I'm gonna go with American Horror Story. I think it's just messier than Orange is the New Black.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I love messy.
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
Aaron? I think he locked up.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
He's in the mountains
It's
and he
that
has Starlink.
Starlink. Yeah, I'm gonna go. Well,
So. Let him back in.
sorry,
Sorry.
Aaron. It's all right. So, what is your choice?
Is this still 6 feet under? And
No.
Orange is the New
No, there
Black.
was a
Orange.
sleep.
Orange is the New Black. And,
I've never seen American Horror Story, so Orange is the New Black.
Okay, so Orange.
Oh,
that
you
was
got
a-
something to look forward to. American Horror Story is
That was
pretty
a
good.
viral
Most of the
show.
seasons are decent.
Horror's not my bag, so I'm probably not going to watch.
I would have gone with American Horror
It's very
Story
subtle horror.
because I like
but
anthology
understand.
series. But,
Mhm.
All right, so here we go. These are two heavy hitters probably. Will and Grace versus Ellen. Ellen is like the seminal LGBTQ sitcom, not her talk. Not
Yeah,
Ellen
I mean,
DeGeneres.
one of the first characters that came out, on her show.
So how about you, Alex?
Oh, this is hard.
Mhm.
Just because both of these leads have lost their fucking minds. Deborah Messing has gone very hardcore into Zionism, and Ellen, it was. I don't
We know
know.
what happened
He's
with that.
like abuse
Yeah.
support or staff. Right?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Will and Grace.
Okay.
I think I just thought the show was better.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
a funny
yeah.
show. Jack's hilarious on
Yeah.
that. All right, so
It's
Megan
Aaron.
Mullally, too.
Plus, it
Yeah,
made
right.
Will
it
and
was
Grace.
one of the first male kisses on television.
Right. You got 2 minutes and 40 seconds.
Right.
So groundbreaking.
So now we go to Final Four. Severance versus 6 Feet Under. Alex.
Severance.
Okay. Lise.
I don't know. Baby Goats versus 6 Feet Under.
Well, let Aaron go then while you think
Okay.
about it.
I'll go Severance.
Okay, so that's
I
Severance
guess I'll
moves on.
follow it doesn't matter, so I'll go to 6 Feet Under.
So Orange is the New Black versus Will and Grace. Two quite different shows.
I'll
Aaron.
go first this time
Okay.
since I demurred last time. Will and Grace.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Orange is the New Black.
All right, Aaron, you're the tiebreaker.
Yeah, Orange is the New Black.
Okay.
All right. So this is for all the marbles right here. We got Severance versus Orange is the New Black. We'll let Lisa go first.
You're evil. On this one, I think I'm gonna go with Orange is the New Black.
All right, Alex.
I'm gonna go with Severance.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah,
Aaron, you're the
Severance.
tiebreaker. All right,
Okay.
Severance. Aaron doesn't really build the drama, but he's pretty resolute in his decision. All right, so we got 1 minute left. It's been exhilarating
job.
conversation. I knew it would be. I really enjoyed it. I know.
Nice to meet you, Alex.
Yeah.
It was nice to
meet
meet you.
all of you.
Can you give us some socials that
Yeah, you
people
can
can
find
find you?
me at Alex Has Opinions on Medium, on Instagram. I'm not on the Everything app much anymore these days, but also you can find me on Blue Sky. I have a website called Alex Has Opinions, and you can find After the Storm magazine at afterthestormmagazine.com, which is the writers collective that I was talking about earlier. My book, The Bubble We're In, which is a steamy literotica about during COVID, is available wherever books are sold. And I'll be having a new book come out this year called Policing Utopia, which is a hope punk murder mystery novel.
Fantastic.
Ooh.
We'll be looking forward to that. Have
We
a good
do
rest of your day. We're
yeah,
done.
stay on for a second after we stop.